It is a very early Tuesday morning on this warm September 6, 2022. I got a lot going on today, a lot of appointments. So I wanted to make this video early so I could get it out today. And I kind of want to recap what transpired over the holiday weekend a little bit and just get some of your thoughts on what is taking place regarding this economy. First off, I want to start with this. This weekend, we were at a grocery store picking up some items, and they had the Blue Rhino propane tanks out front. The exchange was $25. If you wanted to buy a propane tank filled with propane, it was $75. Repeat, $75 to purchase a propane tank. And again, $25 for the exchange. Also, I want to note this. I found this unbelievable, actually. I was at my gym yesterday, and I was talking to the owner, who's a good friend of mine. And he said, I want you to take a look at this. And over on the wall, he had to print out notes and post these on the walls, signs indicating that if you need to get disinfectant spray to spray down a machine, that you had to come to the front desk, because he told me that in the past 6 weeks, 40 bottles, spray bottles of disinfectant have been stolen from his gym. 40 bottles in the past 6 weeks of disinfectant stolen from his gym. I just cannot believe what we're seeing take place. And it hasn't even gotten bad yet, ladies and gentlemen. Wait till you see what is coming. But on a more serious note, really a much more serious note, I want to talk about this incident with the CFO of Bed Bath & Beyond, Gustavo Arnell. Now, this is really a sad report. This occurred, I believe, on Friday in New York. I'll just go over this article. Most of you have probably already seen this, heard about it, read about it. Bed Bath & Beyond CFO identified as man who leaped to his death from Tribeca skyscraper. 52-year-old Gustavo Arnell died after jumping from the 18th floor of the Jenga building in Tribeca, New York. And I bring this up because we're going to see a lot more incidents of things like this taking place. Now, apparently this guy was no angel. A lot of corruption apparently taking place. But we're going to see a lot more of this. And there are other big names coming out right now in the world of real estate. And I'm not going to mention any names here. There's a lot of allegations now that there are federal indictments coming to some of these people, big investigations. And as we begin to see the economy collapse, the markets collapse, interest rates going up, it's going to expose a lot of fraud and a lot of corruption that has been taking place. But it's also, and I want to note this, that it's not going to just happen to people like this who were obviously potentially getting their hands dirty, committing crimes, but it's going to happen to good people too. We remember the stories we heard about the Great Depression, people leaping off buildings after they've lost everything. Think about the stress people are under right now when they look at their 401ks, they've been wiped out. Imagine the stress that people are going to feel when they see the equity in their homes disappear. The stress people are under right now as they're living day to day using credit cards, 8, 10, 15 credit cards people have. Average interest rate is 17.89% on average. Many of you have written me 25, 26, 30%. This is putting a lot of stress on people. And to the people out there who are under immense stress, who are wondering how they're going to pay their rent next month, their mortgage, what they're going to do, you know, if their car gets repoed, maybe your car was repoed. The answer is not taking your life. The answer is not suicide. Seek out help. There are 800 numbers you can call. You can call a church. It's so important right now. It's so imperative that if you can find a good circle, good network of friends to surround yourselves with, a good church. This is what you need to be doing right now. All of us. I mean, people might not be in this predicament right now, but this is why I say it's so important that we have a strong network, because there's going to be times where we're tested. There's going to be times where we're broken. There's going to be times where, hey, it's not looking so good. You need people around you to pull you back up. You need that network. If you don't have it, again, find a church, find a good minister, a good rabbi, a good priest. These 800 numbers that you can look up online. Do not take your life. It is not worth it. But we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more drug abuse, more domestic abuse. And we're going to definitely see more suicide, more alcohol abuse, and as I said, drug use and abuse. When people begin to just lose control, they start doing some really bad things, and they're not thinking clearly, and they start doing very disruptive things. And if you don't have that network, you can fall victim to this. So this is why I say right now, get rid of the weak people, get rid of people pulling you down, get rid of people who just don't see the writing on the wall right now. Get rid of, especially, what I see a lot of is fake people. People who act like they're walking the walk, but they don't walk the walk. They are so fake. They talk and talk and talk. They talk the big game. They tell you what you should do. These people have no idea what they're talking about. So really seek out people who are really walking the walk. But to get back to this article, last month he sold 55,000 shares of Bed Bath & Beyond at prices ranging from $20 to $29.95 per share for a total of $1.23 million. He still held over 255,000 shares. The stock is down 43% this year, 90% from its all-time high. And as I said, we're going to see more of this. And another article regarding this, Gustavo Arnal and GameStop chairman named in class action suit alleging pump and dump. This chairman, Mr. Cohen, the GameStop chairman, purchased a large stake in Bed Bath & Beyond, controlling the sale of shares by insiders. They would profit handsomely from the rise in price and could coordinate their selling of shares to optimize their returns. These people who just don't believe that there's insider trading, that they think that they're going to outsmart these people, have no idea what they're dealing with and the amount of corruption in these markets right now. And that's why I believe we really need to see a collapse. We need to see a reset because there's just so much fraud and corruption and manipulation in these markets. 2 days before Arnal's death, the company announced it was cutting 20% of its workforce and 150 of their stores. So for whatever reason, this guy now worried about investigation, indictment, prison, everything that had been happening to the company with the layoffs, the closures, stock prices dropping. It was a lot of pressure, and apparently he folded under the pressure and took his own life. I don't want to see anybody watching this video this morning even for a second even think about doing that. Nothing is worth taking your life. We're going to get through this. Oil producer group OPEC Plus surprises energy markets with a small production cut. This was an interesting article on CNBC. OPEC and OPEC non-partners known as OPEC Plus decided to cut production targets by 100,000 barrels a day beginning in October. I don't know why we are not drilling and fracking in America. I'm not going to sit here and get political. It doesn't really matter what side you're on. I just believe that why are we being energy dependent when we have more oil than anybody in the world right here and we can be completely energy independent? It makes no sense to me to put people back to work, to get these oil prices down so people can heat their homes, so people can put gas in their cars for a lot less money. When we are dependent on other countries for anything, it is a big, big problem. And it really puts us in a really bad situation in a real bad global position because you have to think, we get into a dispute with these countries, how they can cut us off of energy, cut us off from cheap goods, cut us off from rare earth minerals, cut us off with pharmaceuticals. This is what will happen. Why this great country is not mass producing goods and services and energy, I have no idea. Comment down below. I want to talk about this article that I was reading over the weekend also. California's electric car mandate could spread to over a dozen states. Many of you ask when I'm leaving California. I'm leaving California when I find the farm I'm looking for in the deep south. I'm moving to the southern part of the United States. As many of you know, there's a handful of people that just believe that I should move 2,000 miles tomorrow, take all my family, my animals, buy a home in a bubble, and do all this immediately for their benefit. I don't understand it. Now, again, if they want to send money, gladly, you can send it to my PayPal, my P.O. box. If you want to buy my house or contribute to my house, I'd be more than happy to move immediately and pay over listing price if I need to, because I could use your money. But it doesn't work that way in the real world. This is my money, and I have to be very frugal and very smart on how I spend it and that I get the most for my money, because this is the biggest move of my life, and this is a permanent move. When you move over 2,000 miles, it's a big deal. It's very costly, and I need to know that I'm in the right place, that I got the right deal. And right now, we are beginning to see corrections in the housing market, but we are not seeing very big ones yet. We're seeing big moves in the amount of inventory that's hitting the market. Sales are plunging. The amount of qualified buyers is plunging. Inflation going up, mortgage rates going up, all that. Within the next 90 days, we're going to see big price reductions, in my opinion. I'm seeing price reductions daily, but they're not big. In fact, we got one last night on a property. It was $10,000, but the property is still way overpriced. And I look back to what these people paid, a year or two ago. They're trying to flip on some of these properties, and they're just not going to get it. So I'm going to just weather the storm here for a little bit. But I know nobody has to convince me out there that I have to leave California. I know that, and I am leaving California, and I can't wait for the day that I leave California. This was an incredible state back in the day, one of the most beautiful states in America. It is really criminal how they've destroyed it, but I don't need anybody to tell me that I need to leave. Now, if I need to, get out of here quickly, I have places I can go to. So please don't be concerned. I can get out of here very quickly. I have locations that I can get to where I will be safe, my family will be safe, and all of our animals will be safe. But I understand. I know a lot of people are very concerned that I get out of here. I am getting out of here. But I want to talk about this article and the electric car mandate. They want to ban gas automobiles, combustion engines by 2035 in the state of California. Most of you have already heard that. Our air conditioning got cut off about 2 days ago for about an hour. We've had minor brownouts, I guess, blackouts across the state, but we have our governor telling us to, conserve our electricity, turn the air conditioning, put it a little bit higher, a little warmer, closer to 80 between 5 o'clock and 9 p.m. I'm sure he probably has 4 or 5 separate air conditioning units on his palace, and they're probably running 24 hours a day. I don't know. But how in the world are we going to be plugging in cars when we can't even run air conditioners at our homes here? The windmills out here, which to me are a complete eyesore. We have lots of them out here in the Palm Springs area. To me, I think they're disgusting looking. I think they're horrible. I think they look horrible in the desert environment. And you look at the amount of oil. When you drive by them, look at all the oil just dripping down these windmills. And yet, our energy prices every year continue to go up. They put more windmills up, but our energy prices go up. How they come to the realization or conclusion that windmills are going to power us through with this grid, that we can't even run our air conditioners now. We don't even have enough water out here. Again, more reasons why I'm leaving. Nobody has to convince me. The writing's on the wall for California. We could go on. There's a million things we could talk about that is wrong with California, but I don't know why they just can't let markets decide if people want to drive an electric vehicle or a gas vehicle. Why not let the market decide? Let the market dictate what people want. I think that's the best. But I can tell you right now that there's no way. If there was I don't know, another 500,000 cars, 250,000 EVs here, another million EVs here, there's no way the grid would blow up. The grid would just melt down. It can't even handle what we have right now. And I think there's 1 million EVs in this state right now. But why can they just not let the markets dictate what people want to drive? Windmills are not going to support this. The grid is so outdated in California. It's absolutely a joke. I mean, they're going to send us back to riding horses and wagons out here when they blow up the grid. That's what's going to happen. And I want to go over this article that I was reading a couple nights ago on the economic collapse, and it disclosed some numbers that show why we are getting dangerously close to an economic crash. And many of you, we've already pointed out a lot of this, but this kind of really sums it up. Unemployment is only 3.7%. But if we go to Shadow Stats, John Williams' site, his number is over 24% unemployment. Because when you take into account people who have rolled off unemployment, independent contractors, people who went from full-time to part-time, people who are working that maybe last year had a job that made $125,000, now they're working a job where they make $28,000. They don't include these numbers. About half of all U.S. companies say they will be eliminating jobs within the next 12 months. Inflation is only 8.5% when we know it's really around 17%. But this economy cannot even even if it was 8.5%, this economy cannot handle 8.5% inflation, let alone 17%. Americans are taking out record numbers of short-term loans to buy groceries. Startling. 1 in every 5 home sellers in the U.S. dropped their asking price last month. Sales of previously owned homes were about 20% lower this July than last July. As you all know, nearly 4 million people, 4 million Americans could be evicted in the next 2 months. And we've talked about this also. 20 million households in America cannot pay their utility bills. That is shocking. This is, I thought, a first world country, the wealthiest nation in the world, and we have 20 million households, not people, households. The Dow Jones has fallen for 3 weeks in a row. This is very familiar to what happened prior to the 2008 crash. 2,150 corporate executives sold off large amounts of stock in August. Gustavo Arnal was one of them. Now he is dead. So that is, I think, some interesting data that when you look at it, it's indicating that we are getting very, very close to a very, very big, or if not very plural, events taking place here shortly. I want to end with this last article. A hacker just stole $185,000 in crypto from actor Bill Murray that was destined for charity. We're going to see a lot more cybercrime. We're going to see a lot more digital money disappear. I'm sure that we're going to see problems in the banking system with more these type of attacks. And there's no doubt somewhere down the road, we're going to see the system shut down. Somebody is going to break into the banking system, the institution, the banking institution, or these markets, and you just look at the technology out there and what they can do and the damage. You break into the banking system, certain financial institutions, into the Dow Jones or the NASDAQ, and you shut things down, you're going to create massive, massive problems. But this goes back, and as I close with you on this very early Tuesday morning, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And I was reading some of the comments this weekend on the video where I said you need to be your own central bank. Don't hold all your money in the bank. In fact, I think you should have more of your money out of the bank than in the bank. And people are like, well, somebody will just rob you. Somebody will, steal your safe and whatever. You need to have proper security with proper tools in your house. You need people in your house with the proper skill sets. You need the proper way to store your money. You need to store your money in other locations. You can store your money underground. You can store your money in multiple locations. These people who they're still putting more trust in the bank than themselves. Yes, you could be robbed, but guess what? So could your bank. Your bank could be robbed with the click of a button. It could be your own bank that robs you, which obviously we've already seen that happen. How many times these banks open up their own bank accounts? They were pulling money out of their clients, their patrons' bank accounts and opening up other bank accounts. We've seen JP Morgan manipulating markets, manipulating gold and silver, and this costs people billions of dollars. The criminality of the banking system and what they did after the 2008 housing crash, signing off on the title of people's homes so they could evict them and whatnot. Just the amount of criminality, yet people believe that their money is safer in a bank than it is under their own watch. That's a decision that you have to make on your own. If you have the correct security, training, tools, environment, safes, vaults, security, etc. I would say your money is probably 1,000 times safer with you than it is in one of these banks. I mean, just look at the lawsuits that these banks have had over the last 2 decades and the corruption, the money laundering, the money they've stolen, the criminality of the housing market that took place, and the manipulation of markets, of gold and silver. Very, very corrupt. Yep, there are people out there that just believe it's safer in the bank. And plus, oh yeah, it's insured by FDIC. Well, remember, FDIC insures a couple $100 billion of $20 trillion of depositor money. Now, don't quote me on that number, but it's a very close number to that. They're not even close to even being able to cover a few percent of the people of depositor money that sits in bank accounts, because there's trillions of depositor money out there, and there's no way the FDIC can insure all of that money. Absolutely impossible. They don't have the money to do that. So either you trust the banks more than yourself. I'm not telling you what to do, but again, a lot of these people just cannot get it in their heads that they trust the banks more than they trust themselves. They don't see the criminality. They don't see the threat, how quickly their money can be just shut off, disappear from a screen, or for some reason they just don't like you and they say, hey, we don't like you for whatever reasons, and we're just going to clean out your bank account, or we're not going to let you have access to this. So again, if you look at what has happened and how the dollar has been weaponized throughout the world, you don't play ball with the U.S. Well, we just don't let you use the dollar, and we shut you out, and then we shut you out of your accounts, and we don't even let you pay your own bills with dollars because we don't like who you are, and we just shut you down. And now the whole world is beginning to see that, and how dangerous holding dollars is, and how dangerous, the most dangerous thing is holding dollars in banks, holding gold in banks. Venezuela found that out. So anyways, it's something to think about. Comment down below. Love to know your thoughts. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. I hope everybody tightened up on preparations. We'll see how this week plays out, and I look very, very forward to speaking with all of you. Before I leave, please make sure to give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe and share these videos with everyone you know, you don't know. Blast these videos all over your social media. You have my permission. God bless. Have a wonderful day.